Oh, the fun keeps going on forever. Yes, it does. It's your main man, Mighty Albert, and finally it's here. It's part 2 of the PC build, or my dream PC build. Not my dream PC build, but you know, everybody's dream PC build, right? Everybody wants a PC like this. So we're just gonna kind of go over everything that I've been doing step by step, going over like the bumps and the turns of building this thing, because definitely wasn't going smooth, because there's, you know, a little mistakes here and there, but I have them all on tape. I want the tape. Who the frick says tape? I have them recorded because I want to show you the little things that I miss that potentially you could miss. And you know, this is just the real thing about building a PC. This is just what happens. You know, it's not smooth. I didn't want to cut things out because I wanted to learn from my mistakes, and I wanted you to learn from my mistakes too. But if this is your first time on the channel, welcome. Please don't be afraid to smack the crap out of that subscribe button and the like button. Hit the bell so you don't miss any new content on the channel. And without any further ado, let's jump right in. So starting things off with this video, okay, we're gonna be putting the fans onto these wonderful, beautiful radiators that are made from EK. And these are the low profile radiators because we're not working with a lot of space. So I'm taking out the LIAN fans. These are the power cords. And this is the fan controller box where you can control all the RGB between all of the fans that you may have in your case. And these fans are freaking incredible. When I took them out of the bubble wrap, they don't have that like plasticky feel to it. The outer part of the fan has like almost like a metal like sheet around it. It's very hard to explain, but they feel very robust. And as you can see, these fans, they click together and they daisy chain. Holy crap, I can't even speak today. They daisy chain to each other to make it easier for cable freaking management. And if you're like me and you can't stand cable management, well then these are a lifesaver. I totally freaking recommend these because you only got to deal with one cable for how many fans you daisy chain together. And another cool thing that I love about these fans is that they're so perfectly aligned with the radiator holes. You get one screw on one corner of the fan bracket that you put together, and you put it on the other corner, and you're pretty much good to go. Now, I don't know if you guys have seen the little mistake that I've already made here, and I wanted to keep this in so you could see it. I actually screwed in these fans with the power connector cord right up against the fitting on the right side of your screen. You can look at it over there. And I very soon realized that that's not going to work because there's not enough clearance for the fitting, or you know, even actually the fans to just lay down on the radiator the right way. So soon I realize it, I unscrew it, and I flip them over to the other side, and I make a mistake again, but we'll get back to that mistake in the future because I actually go over it again, what mistake I made. And that's okay because I want you to see that. But comment down below if you already see the mistake I'm making. Let me know. But anyway, one of the things that is really important to me, at least, about these fans is that the fact that there's only one cord, and it was really important to me that I make it so that the wiring goes right to the back of the PC, that I can shove through a garment and wire these these fans to the PSU or the fan controller without having to route the cable a certain way and have it very clean, because I like to see a nice clean case. It actually helps with the accumulation of dust. The neater the inside of your computer is, where you have your fans doing push or pull, or pulling in air or pulling air out, it actually helps with dust accumulation if you have as least many things in your way as possible, that being cords, that being tubes, that being wiring, even things. It just helps not accumulate dust. So it's actually really important that you cable manage your your PC. And as you can see, we are just about finished putting this radiator fan combo all together. And man, oh man, it looks really good. I'm just checking to make sure that I actually am screwing into the screw hole and not into the radiator, because if you do that, it's a nightmare. And man, there it is. And it looks beautiful. I love the way these radiators look with these fans on. And then that leads us, you know, to the second radiator that we have to put together with this build. You know, again, you know, now we're using a 240 millimeter radiator. This is going to be going up against the backside of the computer, you know, faced vertically, not horizontally. It won't be laid down flat. And I really wish there was a way for me to lay these fittings on the bottom of the radiator. You know, I wanted them on the bottom part of the, you know, of the case. I wanted them down because it would have made draining that radiator so much more easier. But unfortunately, I had to have the fittings on the top. And you'll see, that's the way that it's gonna have to be. But unfortunately, that's what we had to do. And the reason why I wanted them to be on the bottom is because, you know, when you have the crack or the open for your air on the top part of your PC, it makes it so that air can enter in your loop from the top, right? So it pushes down the air from top and pushes out the fluid from the bottom, right? Equal air in is equal air out, or water out, whatever you want to do. And I actually, in this clip, I actually give my buddy a call, and he states that he wanted it to push, or he wanted it to pull from the bottom part of the radiator, you know, from the bottom of the PC, and push the air upwards out. So that was my mistake. If you know, caught it, what I wanted you guys to see, if you could catch the mistake, is I actually had them in the pull format rather than the push, or is it push? Is it push or is it pull? I think I was having them push out, and I'm actually I was having the fans originally with the faces up. They were pushing air out, not pulling air in. But with flipping the fans on the other side, the way they are on the 360 millimeter radiator, that is pulling air from the bottom part of the PC case into the case. And then those two fans on the 240 millimeter radiator are going to be pushing the warm air out. And the reason why you do that is because you want to have positive pressure in your PCs. And when you say positive pressure, it just means that you have more fans pulling in clean air from the outside of your case, and you have less fans pushing out. But right here, actually, this is from a live stream that I did on Friday, I think it was. It was Friday, where I was catching a lot of my mistakes. I was looking at them, and I don't know if you caught it, but if you could see that 240 millimeter radiator in the back, I actually put them in the right way. I had them, you know, pulling air rather than pushing it out on the back. But now I actually have to take everything apart, what I did in the previous video. You know, because everything's in there, as you can see, the distro plate, the radiators and all that, the motherboard. I actually have to take apart everything because I need to get at the back of the motherboard, because there's a plate that came with this case for ATX motherboards, right? This is a small form factor build, so it comes stationary with a thing for, you know, smaller motherboards. So I actually have to take the motherboard out, as you can see me doing here, and I got to put that back plate in. So we're taking the motherboard out. Damn, this thing, it's so freaking heavy, dude. Like, I can't believe how heavy they're making these things now. I'm gonna put that to the side. And as you can see here, I'm actually putting in that extension to have the 3 extra standoffs. And that is really important, because you want to make sure that your motherboard is grounded and there's not any uneven distribution of weight, because like I said, these motherboards are really heavy. So putting that motherboard back in, as you can see here, and putting in the screws, and man, yeah, now you could tell that this motherboard is well grounded and it's not going anywhere, man. This motherboard is hooked up, and now we're cooking with gas. And that leads me to the behind the case, you know, from behind, you know. We're putting in that power supply, that 850 watt EVGA small form factor power supply, might I add, because once I put in these cables, as you can see in here, and you're gonna see I'm gonna put more and more in, the room fills up really fast, okay? Like there's no room. And it's in this moment where I realize, man, I gotta find a way to consolidate some room, because once I plug in the 24 pin connector extensions like I'm doing here into the front of the PC, and once I really start plugging things in, I'm gonna run out of room very fast. And I love these cable mod extension cables, but man, they're so freaking stiff. And I don't know if that's just the way they make them or just from being in storage for so long, but you know, routing them was kind of giving me a little bit of a hard time, especially that 24 pin connector. But alas, they look freaking amazing. They look so good. And then I actually figure out, I don't need that, you know, a 3.5-inch drive cage that's in the front. So I just take this out and I use it to manage some more cables and plug in the fan connectors for the LIAN controller. And that's pretty much where we're left with, man. It looks really, really good. It's really awesome to see this build get closer and closer to completion. Now, believe me, there still is a lot left to do. I want to make sure that I have everything wired correctly. And one of the things that I need to make sure, especially, is if I can get back at those, you know, those where the hard drives are, the NVMe slots, I got to put those fans up at the top. I still have 3 more fans to put up on the top and 1 on the side. On the left side, I got to put the graphics card in. That's going to be a lot of fun. And that's a whole video on itself, just doing that graphics card, man. It's gonna be a lot of fun, and I'm really looking forward to it. So that's actually really it for this week, guys. I mean, we got pretty far. Believe it or not, that was a lot of freaking work to put all that stuff in. Now, next week, I'm going to be just literally taking apart the graphics card. We're gonna take the cooler right off, right down to the PCB board, just the raw chip, and we're gonna throw on that vector block, right? And it's gonna be so sweet. It's gonna be a pretty long process. So I'm probably just gonna do a nice standalone video of me on my tabletop, just going over all the things that I do, kind of similar to what I did with the radiators, maybe a little time lapse, because it's a lengthy process, like I said. And then we're gonna do maybe a couple of runs. I'd like to do some tubes, and then we're gonna have a special video for the finale of the build, and I'm really freaking excited for it. So thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this, remember please to give it a like. If you didn't like it, leave it a thumbs down and a comment to let me know what I could do better. But thanks once again, and I will see you in next week's video. Peace.